Hope everybody's excited because I am ready to talk week 0.
I got the juice, I play for hours. Coldest thing running, unlimited power. Doing my thing.
I just want to put a disclaimer. Yes, I know this is week 1. Yes, I know there's a lot of players that haven't done the 3-on-3 in an official capacity like this on the courts, the up and downs and everything like this. So while we're not taking the highs or the lows, we're going to go right in the middle, but still, you got to break down something, right? Before we even get to the game stuff, I just want to talk about how, I don't know. I mean, granted, I love Unrivaled for doing new and different things, but like 2 things I'm just kind of done with is the Samsung Galaxy View. It kind of takes me out of the game right away because it's like, you know, it feels like we're looking through a phone, and I just don't like it. I pay for a nice new monitor and good internet, and to see it in that view just kind of does nothing for me. It may do something for other people, but for me, it just doesn't work. The second thing is going to be, yeah, we're not interviewing the coaches anymore, which is one thing that I hate that the WNBA did and things like that. But why are we interviewing the players on the bench? Like, why can't we do traditional at breaks, like before we go, like during a commercial timeout or during halftime or something like that? I just don't understand why we need to do things like during the action. It just feels like it takes away from everything. And people aren't like focused. Like even one of the first ones is just like they're talking and it's like, oh nope, got to sub in, and it's just like, you know, we could have got away from that. We don't have to do that. Let's find some other ways to be different. But with Unrivaled, I don't usually have any critiques, so it is what it is. I'll live with that kind of stuff. So what I wanted to do is kind of go through the games and talk about some things that stood out to me. But my biggest thing is going to be new to this year is who's got the juice. So it's not exactly like the player of the game, but it's kind of the player of the game. It kind of just one of those things that's fluid. Players that really stood out to me, and players that actually affected the game in the ways that kind of I like to see players affect the game. So like right away with the Mist and the Hive, it was a rough one, and the fact that this was a rough game and it felt like a rough game and it wouldn't even be the worst or the lowest scoring game we'd see, it's kind of crazy to me. Like when I went back and did the power rankings, I was like I gotta put the Hive at the bottom because of how they played, but like they didn't score the least amount of points, and that's crazy because it felt like they would have. But the score was 72-56. Obviously, the Mist won in convincing fashion. I didn't really have like favorites going into the year outside of the Rose, and I mean for good reason. But the Mist look like they're right in that same tier. They look like they're in the same tier, and anything can happen. Somebody could turn and round into shape. And like we said, you know, this is week 0. This is opening day. This isn't a full weekend of games and things like that. You know, so we don't want to overdo it, but they look really good. Like, and it's just like it wasn't an even spread, because I think Leroux didn't get a lot of tick, but Stewie looked well for her spot stuff. But like, it's like you have that vet that just like for some reason you can tell they bring that energy, that winning energy, and the Mist look really good. The person that had the juice for me in this game though was my dog Veronica Burton and Alana Smith. Because, you know, Veronica Burton has been really good, just coming off of her super improved season over there with the Golden State Valkyries. She just continued to just really kill it over there. She filled the stat sheet. She had 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists, along with 3 steals and 2 blocks. If somebody had that kind of stat line in college, I'm going to say, let me put them on my radar for my draft board. This is kind of ridiculous. And then Miss Cody POY, Alana had 10, 6, 1 assist, and 5 blocks. Nobody's even really come close to that so far. And I always enjoy watching any of my Lynx girls play. But she was all over the place. Like, she was taking a little bit to get used to everything, but bro, you have somebody mobile like her, able to roam and, you know, kind of stick with her person too, and she has that wingspan and can reach wherever you're going. Good luck. Like, this is the kind of person I want to see people like Cam Brink go work with and stuff like that, because she can stay up and down and affect shots and stop shots without actually getting into foul trouble. So it's crazy. And she had some issues during the season too with foul trouble, but I mean, it is what it is. You kind of expect that from a defensive player, but you don't want them to also then foul out. As far as the Hive, though, I saw on somewhere, I think it's Threads or Twitter, somebody was saying that did the Hive get the last pick on every round because the team just is confusing. And like I said on my power rankings, I have questions. Like, it's built weird. We love Miss Citron around here, but being the captain, you can't have a showing like that. Again, I'll say it over and over again. I know this is week 0. Everybody's getting used to it, but it was just not a great showing. Everybody was really, really missing shots, and realistically, even the Miss didn't really shoot that great from the field. They just made the shots when they needed to, timely shots, as some people say. But I want to see the Hive grow and continue to hopefully stick together. I'm interested to see how the offseason goes because I kind of want to see teams grow some semblance of continuity. And for that to happen, you kind of got to stick together just a little bit. So like I put in my notes, I hope they're allowed to grow together and figure it out. But it's going to be great for the young players that are trying to build things like Sanaya Rivers. She only played 6 minutes, but she had 3 steals and a block. Now, she had a couple of air balls too, but this just shows her effect on defense that I've spoken about all year on social media. And I need to see her develop an offense. I need to see her develop something coming out of Unrivaled. I really do. Around all these talented players, I need to see her kind of level up here. And like I said, neither shot well from 3, but it's the first game, so it's fine. That second game, Laces versus Vinyl, was 42-58. Who had the juice in this game is going to be Brittany Sykes featuring E-Weeze. Brittany, because she kind of kept the team afloat in the critical moments, right in the middle there, and where they didn't necessarily need her in the last quarter, when it's time to score and things like that. You had Captain Jack and Alyssa Thomas to take us home, but in the meat of the game, Sykes was getting to her buckets. She was getting to her bag. She was getting to where she needed to get to make things happen, and she was just with confidence, just like, I got you, boom, killing them. And then Erica Wheeler, she was just kind of everywhere, and she was killing it on the help defense, and I really liked how she played. So that's why I can't put the Vinyl on the bottom of my power ranking. They're second to the bottom, but I couldn't put them on the bottom just because they seem like they have a formula there. Like, that team doesn't feel like they should have scored 42 points. They should have scored more. So I like what I see. I really like Wheeler. I like Wheeler regardless, but I like what she showed in the especially in post-ups and things like that, where she just boom, hands in the cookie jar, give me that. Or disrupting passing lanes, disrupting people that is like, oh, I'm just going to dribble it up the court. She's like, no, you're not. You better get it to a ball handler because I'm on you. And so it's really awesome to see. Again, like I've said plenty of times before, I love when Ryan Howard attacks the basket, but she loves to settle for shots. But she is 6'1", and she's got some solidness to her, and I hate that kind of body can sometimes go to waste because she's not putting it within some contact. I need a balance. I need a diet because I know she could tear everybody up from everywhere, but she doesn't, and it frustrates me. It felt like it got a little chippy more than any of the other ones, even though like you had a kind of a crash out moment with the Owls. It felt like it was weirdly chippy with like De'Erica and Maddie Segrist, and then Alyssa Thomas and Griner, but those two kind of like, that's kind of normal, but it was kind of weird to see De'Erica and Maddie get into it. So I don't know if there's something there that I'm missing, but it is what it is. But the game felt hard fought until the last part, and then my laces just kind of took off, because we do rep the laces around here. And, that was that. They kind of fell apart at the end there. So here's the hoping they bounce back. I'm not hoping anybody or wishing ill on anybody. You want to see everybody win, but everybody can't win. So it is what it is. The Owls versus the Rose. This one was 60-80, and you got to know that who has the juice in this one is going to be Chelsea Gray. But low-key, the twin crash out. I call the twin crash outs Marina and Skylar Diggins. But Skylar's hurt, so there's only one crash out twin out there. Her and Aaliyah Edwards did what they could to keep him in it. They scored. They were go-to. They have bags to get to. They can do what they need to do, but everybody else is a role player, or at least played like it, or is just not used to it. But it looked bad. People look timid. They didn't have something to get to. And that's usually when you start making those turnovers. You start freezing and trying to pass out of things you shouldn't pass on instead of taking that extra dribble or going to a move or a shot that you've worked on, which, I mean, when you have people that only really spot up shooters and not really the greatest in the league, it's going to be very telling when you're forced into a role where you have to score more when you lose somebody like Skylar Diggins, because I think you don't lose a crazy amount. You lose a lot when you don't have Nafisa out there, but I think they wouldn't suffer that much having Miss Edwards out there. But when you don't have Skylar Diggins out there, that changes things as well. And even still, like Marina Mabry almost had a triple-double. She had 21, 8, and 9. Leah Edwards had a double-double. And I'm not saying that Marina can't have games like that. She can, but I think with Skylar out there, it's going to change a lot. It's going to bring you scoring. It's going to bring balance, and it's going to help those role players that can't get to their bag get to where they need to get to, because you have a person that can set them up. Like Marina was getting passes off to Aaliyah, but she wasn't point guarding it up. She wasn't setting them up. She was, here you go, versus somebody who can put people in spots to just, you don't have to think, you just got to make the shot. But yeah, no, they look the I'm not worried about the Lunar Owls. It's just because they're missing players, but they have something to base their things off of. And again, they're better than the other two teams that I just mentioned having some kind of like issues with in terms of the Vinyl and the Hive. But they are not in the area right now of the Rose. The Rose look like they've been here before, and they're going back several times. Like, there's nothing to really say about them. They were cooking. No matter who came off the bench, they're just going. No matter who. It's just like, we got this. We're going. Like, it got close there for a little bit, but then Chelsea Gray was like, listen here. Now, if it starts to be where she's got to have, 35, whatever, every game, then it kind of becomes a problem, but I don't think it will. And the craziest part about this whole thing is that Kalia Cooper is not playing. So y'all need to worry. I mean, my laces, everybody needs to worry. This team is gonna look nasty. It looks nasty now, but they're gonna look even more so going forward. It's freaking crazy. Moving on to the Phantom versus the Breeze. This game was closer than most of the games, and the person who's got juice here is Tip Hayes. I said on Twitter, I was like, she's like me for real, only because we're the same age, and that's it, because she's a professional basketball player and she's really good. But she had 20 points. She shot well from the field, but she had one of those statistical nights that if, again, I was looking at a college player, I'd say, let me go dig deeper into this player's like play and everything, because she had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Like, she was all over the place, and that's kind of what you want to see when you feel like a player's been all over the place in a good way. And you go and you see their stats to back it up. There's not always stats to back it up, but this time there was. And she was just making plays on both sides. I love the fire that she plays with. She was getting hype. And, it wouldn't be Tip basketball without actually seeing her on the floor. And she was on the floor quite a lot. It took a little while to get there, but she got there. And I was like, okay, this is just a regular game now. We're finally seeing her diving and not flopping, but, getting knocked to the ground and things like that. It's just the way she plays. And everybody knows in the W space, in the women's basketball space, that it's not Tip basketball without her being on the ground. I did like what I saw with Kate Martin, being a notoriously more of a shooter. She was actually taking somebody that was smaller, like Kelsey Plum, on her hip, driving her to the basket and taking her to the actual cup. So I like seeing that. I want to see more of that from her. It's a similar gripe I have with Ryan when you're a shooter, but you have size, to try to add something else to your not to your body, but to your game, so that you can be more than one dimensional and just a shooter. Because when the shot's not falling, you need to get to the basket to see it go through the basket, see it go through the bucket. And obviously the mid range is kind of lost among a lot of players as well. So like when they're predominantly a 3-point shooter, you don't always see like a mid-range game there as well. So it's kind of another one of those things I want to see players like that add to their game, along with using their size to get to the basket. But both teams played well. I thought at first that Dominique was going to get killed by Leah Boston, having a lot of minutes played against her. But she didn't. She played well. She stood the test of the matchup. They had similar statistics in terms of what they put up points-wise, but Malanga had more rebounds. But it was more so because she had to go back in the game more because Cam Brink could not stay out of foul trouble. Cam Brink was playing like a rookie, like a super rookie out there, like more than anybody I've watched. There was other players that struggled, but like players that were more so, role player type-ish, whereas I expect Cam to be a little better. But she had some foul trouble, a lot of foul trouble. She almost had 6. Now, granted, Courtney Williams had 6. Let's get that clear. She didn't have the most fouls over opening week, but her and Aaliyah Boston were definitely in foul trouble today. But both still, Aaliyah Boston looked good, but I hope to see Cam Brink clean it up, look a little better, look a little less like all over the place, and tone the fouls down and sort of start to get that offense under control, because I was really disappointed in what I saw. But like we said, we're not going to shoot at the low lows, and we're not going to over bloat the high highs as well. Like Chelsea Gray scoring, that much was great and all, but like you don't want her to have to do that every night either, even though it'd be cool to see. You don't want her to have to do that unless somebody can take the mantle for her and she's not wasted come championship time, It looked like Paige Beckers had a shot that she wanted to get to because she kept going to it. It's like in the mid-range, right on the outsides of the paint, where she was coming and like making that fade and like getting that or either right or left leg up, and sort of like not necessarily a fade, but just like almost to the point where she was off balance every time. But I think it's going to be one of those things where eventually, once she perfects it, it's going to be a thing where she is able to draw fouls really well with this shot. So keep an eye out on that, because I think we're in the process of seeing a developing go-to move. And like she has moves that she goes to and things like this, but I don't remember her doing this like this excessively in college. So I think she's using this to work on some things, which is great, because she still wasn't even all the way in her bag and had 20-some points. Like she's the second leading scorer right now. But other than that, this was a good game. It was close. It wasn't a blowout. It was right down to it, and I really enjoyed the whole thing, everything. Everybody was complaining about, it's the early games and stuff, but we have ways to rewatch things, and that's why I spent a little bit to have HBO Max so I could go watch it, because of my work schedule, I just can't watch everything when it comes on, and I will need to go back and like check notes and like see things that I missed and things when you're watching things live, and so it just kind of works. It works for me anyway. So I can't wait for the season to continue and what we see this weekend, now that players have got, shook the cobwebs off, got the nerves out, and kind of go from there. But I tell you what, man, I love making videos and stuff for you guys, but I wish I had a studio somewhere to go record, or another room. So that's going to be my goal, is getting into a bigger house or moving to a state or a city where I can have access to technology that allows me to, if I can't do it in the home, I can go somewhere and record, so that I'm not banking on my family leaving the house so that I can record in a quiet house, and I'm not going to force them to be quiet in the house. That's not what life is about. This videos and stuff ain't that crazy unless you guys start getting me to the point where I can be paid for this. Then I might be like, all right, I got to go out for 30 minutes so I can record a video. But we'll get there, and I can't wait to go there with you guys, because again, it's all women's basketball all the time, and we're going to keep trucking to that point. But that was the reason why this video may have seemed like it was a shift in this last part of the video, because it came home in the middle of the video. So I had to refigure and then wait for them to pop out for a little bit again and then finish the video. So either way, not really important. But again, like I said, I love talking to you guys. I love speaking on basketball, about basketball, and I'm going to continue to do it. So until next time, we'll see you. Peace.